Good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking the time just to jump on today again. Obviously, you'll see a different face here today. So for the last number of weeks, it's been myself and David primarily. We've got Adam on the call today, or on the webinar, sorry. So main topic of today is obviously getting the most out of your email marketing within IRP. We've covered off things such as conversion rate, looking at Q1 trends. There was a webinar last week on Klarna. So obviously we'll focus on email marketing today and hopefully shed some light on the functionality within IRP and what you can do there to try and maximize sales through the channel. So in terms of speakers, obviously I've introduced Adam here. Some of you will have worked with him in the past, others not, but Adam's a valued member of the commercial side of the business and is involved heavily on sort of site optimization in terms of design. Email does function or is included within that. So Adam will be able to give some helpful insight here today in terms of developments in IRP and what's coming in the pipeline as well there. And then obviously myself, just as customer success manager, so I work directly with a number of merchants there, between myself and David. We try and keep things running as smoothly as possible for everyone. So we kick off with this slide most weeks, just in terms of the merchant first theme, and really what that means is visibility, control, and profit for our merchants. So obviously today we're going to be covering off email marketing, and whenever we'll delve into the figures a bit more, but actually email marketing is probably the most profitable channel. Well, I'll say probably it is actually the most profitable channel across our merchants, outside of those unpaid channels. Generates relatively low CPAs from month to month. So I suppose this is a case of just maximizing the amount of sales and traffic you can send via the channel and make the most of it. In terms of the contents we're going to be covering off today, so we do the maths behind e-commerce weekly, and we've slightly altered that a bit there, just in terms of sessions numbers to give you an idea of what that looks like whenever email marketing sort of filters in, more so in terms of the traffic you're driving to the site. We'll look at why email marketing matters for e-commerce, and really just the basics of that. And we look at why you use the IRP email marketing suite, and how to build high quality email lists. Craft engaging email content. We'll look at segmentation and personalization of emails, automation and triggered emails that are available within IRP. And then Adam's going to touch on mobile friendly emails. And then finally, we'll look at measuring email campaign success there.
So as you're all well aware, this slide is in every week. So it's here to highlight the impact of that a slight tweak in any of the KPIs, so your sessions, your conversions, your AOV. In previous versions, you've looked at we've highlighted an uplift in conversion rate of 0.2%, but today we're looking at an example where we're looking at the traffic source of email marketing, which will give potentially has the potential to impact an additional 10% of sessions. With that session uplift, it results in an additional £60,000 of sales for this particular merchant. You can run those figures yourself by tweaking in Trader and see your potential uplift in the sales calculator located at the bottom of the positions page within Trader. This slide looks at the IRP definition around e-commerce profits. We have included a link to the IRP definitions within the IRP knowledge base. So if you're unsure about any of the definitions covered, you can read into them into more detail. As we move through the slides, we will display CPAs per channel. Email figures in terms of CPA across all merchants typically tend to perform the best. So this channel can be critical for improving your business profitability.
So we'll just go back to basics here, in terms of why you would actually implement email marketing and why it matters for e-commerce. So firstly there, you'll see on the slide for direct and personal communication. So you can tailor subject lines using placeholders within IRP templates, just to make the correspondence more personable with any of the audience that you're trying to reach out to there. You can build a relationship and work on relationship building. So monitor your customer lifetime value. You can't see those figures within Trader. You can adjust the times there in terms of what you're looking at. So typically a short time period or a time period prior to the current day there will show a lower customer lifetime value. Obviously, if you extend that out to 12 months or 18 months, it's just interesting to see that trend there, to see if customers are coming back again to the site. In terms of targeting, we can use personalization and segmentation and capabilities within the platform. And so within Marketing Cloud, and we're going to touch on it further on through the slides, and we'll look at the capabilities of segmentation within IRP and how we can be very exact in terms of the audience that we're targeting. It's effective for customer retention and driving sales. So you can easily target customers who have purchased or previously interacted with you, whether that be by email or through paid ads, or if it's a second or a third touch point, just to get that customer to keep coming back again. Automated emails are a fantastic way of doing that. In terms of cost effectiveness there, within the IRP ecosystem, this channel delivers monthly low CPAs. So I think it's critical for all businesses there in terms of profitability. Lowest CPAs, highest profitability, makes sense for everybody to be making maximum use of the channel. And then finally, measurable results there. So based on last click attribution, we talk about this, I think, in all webinars as well there within Trader. You can see channel performance broken down month on month, using the same attribution model. So we're not having third parties, reporting on inflated figures there. So definitely is useful there, and keeping on top of that and making sure account managers are really helping you to drive on the figures that you're seeing there associated with the email channel. So in terms of IRP merchants, this slide just looks at the data there for the month of April. So you'll see on the left-hand side, we've got all the different channels, Google PPC, your affiliates, your emails, Facebook, etc. there. And as I say, the column furthest to the right will show the CPAs there per month. So you'll see email marketing sitting second in the list there at 1.65%. So again, like having the email marketing or the Marketing Cloud included within the IRP functionality and as part of the transaction fee, we emphasize is important to really try and use that as much as possible as a cost-effective way of growing your sales and growing your business. On the right-hand side there, this equates to the sales across all channels for all IRP merchants, and is published in the e-commerce market data at the end of each month there. So we can see there that email marketing has contributed 8.4% in terms of sales. So third highest contributor in terms of sales, and cheapest there in terms of CPA and most cost effective. So we'll try and give some pointers and advice now on how you actually go ahead and try and implement email marketing the best way possible.
So in terms of the IRP Email Manager, so it's a powerful email marketing solution that can personalize, automate, and deliver email campaigns on a global scale directly from your IRP. So the key features there are it provides a powerful, low cost, as we've already alluded to, and you can personalize email sales direct within the system. It's got full control to create segmented campaigns and remarketing opportunities. And you can manage content and mailing lists from one place. So you're not logging into one system to do your emails and another system to do your sales. Key benefits: there's no need for expensive third-party systems such as Klaviyo. Significantly reduces the cost of that in turn significantly reduces the cost of running your email campaigns. And it's fully compatible with SendGrid portal for additional delivery reporting. We're looking at some of our merchants. One of our larger merchants has an email list of over 200,000 users. If we looked at an external tool, it would cost over $2,000 per month just to have the system. That's without sending any emails. So utilizing the IRP Email Manager allows you to save that to begin with, and you've got more integrated tools. So in terms of your emails, the first thing you need to do is get an email list. So building a high quality email list requires a strategic approach to attracting relevant subscribers who are interested in your products and are likely to engage with your email campaigns. A few ways of building a high quality email list are creating compelling sign up incentives. So why would they join your list? Why would they give you their email address? So there's the likes of Nike, where there's exclusivity, there's a sense of their membership. We've got one here for Tinny's Toys, which was for a monthly draw of €50. And then Camping World, it's becoming part of the team, become part of the crew, getting exclusive deals, and being part of the reward scheme. And which gets, so you're telling people what they're going to get by giving you something. You want to look at you're optimizing the email opt-in forms. So the likes of whenever an order is placed, whether that person is a member, is a registered user on the site or not. If they're not a user, they can sign up to the emails by creating a user account after they place the order. Leveraging the likes of interventions at the right time, so the likes of a exit intent, which you can set within the intervention system within IRP. Utilizing social media, promoting your newsletter through Facebook, through Instagram, working with guest bloggers and content marketers to run contests and giveaways. And then another important thing is segmenting your email list. So making sure that you are sending the right information to the right people. Number of our merchants are fashion retailers that sell both to men and women. A male user is not necessarily going to want to get a female email product. So it's just making sure that you're segmenting your lists correctly, so then you're targeting your audience properly. Also using offline events to build those relationships. Having a conversation with somebody at a show, you can if you get their email address, then you can market to them and keep that relationship going. That's not just a one-off event. Then it's also providing, a key thing is to provide consistent value, focusing on your building relationships with your subscribers rather than just looking to promote products. There's always an ongoing process, so it's key to continuously analyze. Your segments might be right not for now, but down the line they might. How you segment your lists and how you progress from there is important. It's also testing different strategies and ensuring that you have a clean email list as well. So in terms of crafting your email content, there's a number of things listed there. We'll just go through a few key ones. So the likes of writing attention-grabbing subject lines. This is your first. As people are going through the email inbox, they want to have something pull them out and really draw their attention to it. Once they're in the email, you want to look at being able to personalize it, utilizing their first name to kind of make it feel like they're being marketed to directly. Make sure your CTAs are clear and concise, that they are compelling. So it's buy now, or if it's
don't miss out.
Don't miss out. So
it's a good one. Make them feel as if they need to click through.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth.
And your content should be concise and scannable. So it's not big, long-winded paragraphs. It's short bullet points and small paragraphs. Again, using social proof and reviews to just reinforce what your message that you're trying to get across.
So next slide there, just in terms of segmentation within IRP, and we've talked about the importance there and really serving up relevant content to the relevant audience at the most relevant time. So within IRP, segmentation there is available through Marketing Cloud. On the right hand side there, you'll see the different or the complete list of segments there that we can associate any of these lists with. Definitely, I think they're covered off probably by demographic. They're covered off by purchase history, interest and preference, customer lifetime stage. So you'll see one there: last engaged with an email, last order dates, anything in terms of last times. I think a number of merchants there. Whenever you run the insights within Trader, what pops up quite frequently is customers who have purchased a number of times, however haven't purchased in the last, say, 3 months or 6 months. So those guys are obviously, there's a high sort of purchasing intent there with those guys, but maybe you haven't interacted with them. So that's one definitely worth looking at, and running your IRP insights there from Trader. Outside of that, then there's behavioral triggers as well, in terms of, you know, purchases, orders completed, and then the last one would just be around your personalized product recommendations. In terms of automation and triggered emails within IRP, you see the screenshot just on the right there as well, which sits within marketing campaigns. So you've got, you know, a number there in terms of orders placed, orders completed, drop baskets. Drop baskets probably the best performing campaigns across the board with all merchants, in terms of driving revenue there, whether that be, you know, with inclusion of a discount voucher or not. There is the opportunity there to include some kind of incentive there at the brand, at the category, or at the product level. You've got your standard mail shots as well there. I think Adam touches on that as well, just about frequency of when you send those out. But those are all covered off in the trigger emails and the functionality within Marketing Cloud there. You see the bottom point on the left-hand side, the bottom bullet point, and drop basket. So this is a conversation we have with multiple merchants, and it has been popping up quite a bit for anybody who uses the IRP app. And it's a case of all these failed payments and people are attempting to check out on the site. Now, whenever you see that in the app, that isn't actually an attempt at payment, and that's potentially those who have got to the basket and then have just abandoned from there. So although those figures can be astronomical in some cases, it is worth having a look at your drop baskets there, particularly within Marketing Cloud in the drop basket section, which we will touch on, and seeing what you can do there for those products that have been dropped more so than others. In terms of benefits of automation, time and resource efficiency. So quite a few of our merchants have small teams, you know, 1, 2, 3 man bands. And the more automation you can have set up there in the background, in terms of an email that can be triggered to send after someone has purchased. Think of the product life cycle typically. So if you're selling something that's fast moving, or something that has a shelf life of say 3 months or 6 months, think about how you can retarget that customer with the same item again, or alternatively something that's, you know, relevant. Just thinking, even if like some of our merchants are in the baby space, where, you know, a toddler or a baby develops into a toddler and grows, and you can think of the journey there for a parent at 6 months, at a year, at 18 months. And you can set up automated triggers in the background there as to how you would target that parent all the way through. So you're providing relevant products for those parents all the way through that process. And then finally, just touching back on the drop basket summary, and this is something that was covered in previous webinars as well. So we've got the drop basket summary in mCloud, and you'll see there I've highlighted the products tab. So you can see for this particular merchant, I think there's 760 products that have been included in the last 30 days in terms of drop baskets. So just go into that tab there, have a look and see which products have been dropped more regularly than others. Off the back of that, I've been doing a quick search on the different sort of, probably in Google primarily. That's where the majority of sales will come from merchants. Seeing if your pricing's competitive there, seeing if, you know, the images displayed on your product page are high enough quality, looking at your descriptions, making sure if your competitors have something included on there that perhaps you don't, that you get that included as soon as possible. And then pricing obviously feeds into it as well. So maybe even your shipping costs as well. So you'll see there on the right hand side, it isn't highlighted, but the checkout funnel, and we did touch on this in the previous webinar as well. Checkout funnel is just new functionality has been released in IRP, and it gives you a good oversight of all stages of the checkout funnel there, in terms of moving from entering, you know, your bill and your address details through to your postage options. So if you're seeing a high drop off and postage there with lots of people adding product to the basket, you might need to go and review the cumulative total between your products and your shipping price. Maybe your actual product price is a whole lot cheaper than your competitors, but actually your shipping price is bringing the total price above what they're offering that product at. So definitely worthwhile having a look at.
So yeah, this next slide is just touching on how important mobile friendliness is in e-commerce, not just in emails, but across the site. It's something that I've been working with a number of merchants recently in terms of updating their websites, making sure that they are working great on desktop and on mobile as well. In terms of mobile friendly emails, here there's just a few reasons why it's important for the designs of the email to be responsive. There's a growing mobile usage, so more and more people mobile is where they're doing most of their browsing, whether that's browsing their emails, whether that's browsing their websites. So it's a really key market. We need to look at how that enhanced user experience in terms of making sure that everything's readable. As you can see from the example of the Twinings emails, the content changes size depending on the device. The likes of the navigation there within the email reduces down just to the key links. So you're, instead of having 7, you're dropping down to 4. That's then readable across smaller devices. And as we have better designs of emails, that increases email engagement, and by a result of that has a high increased conversion rate. Also, alongside your emails being mobile friendly, they need to be be consistent for your brand perception. Your emails are sometimes the first thing that people see on a regular basis that off you. So they need to, the imagery, the text needs to be consistent throughout your emails and your website. So it's a seamless experience.
I think one of the comments that we have internally, the majority of us sign up to all sort of newsletters, so we're subscribed to most of the newsletters that you guys have. But one thing that comes up time and again is, size of text and actually being able to read email content. It seems very straightforward, but just on the mobile, there are some merchants where emails come out and the content, the font is so small, it's just hard to read. And we think about, however many thousand emails or however many thousand recipients are receiving those emails. And obviously it's not ideal there. Typically you'll get a bounce from that. Maybe you have a compelling headline or subject line, but whenever, any merchant or any potential customer sees that content where they can't actually read it, particularly on the mobile, then that's automatically they're not clicking through there.
So with mobile friendly emails in mind, we've been working on new updated templates. These will be within 3 main categories: storytelling, product lists, so very much what most people have been using as it is, and featured products. And those will be ready, available in our training environment in the next few weeks. So what we'll do is, once they're ready, we'll drop an email out to let you know that they're there. You can take a look, and then we can look at getting those ported across to your sites as well. So in terms of this, there's the 3 main areas. So this first one is storytelling emails. So the key things here are defining your objectives. So what is your storytelling about? Are you introducing a new product, sharing a customer success story, highlighting your brand values, or objection handling? So the key of it is to start off with what's this email about? So you then develop a narrative that aligns with that objective. So it could be have an introduction, conflict or challenge, resolution, and conclusion. Make it relatable, make it incorporating characters, emotions, and relatable situations. With that, you'll need to have an engaging subject line that grabs the attention. Again, that flows through with your visual storytelling, your images that match the narrative that you're putting across. Then the likes of the emotional connection. If we can pull in heartstrings, that will help people align to your brand in a greater way that connects with your subscribers' aspirations, their challenges or desires. Again, your call to actions, as we've highlighted in the initial content element, it's important to have CTAs that really stand out, whether it's encouraging a subscriber to shop a collection, explore a product, or share their own story. It's important that matches up. If your storytelling is going to be longer than one email, you need to look at how you can sequence that out and create a series that then engages with the user and allows you to maintain their interest over a period of time, building anticipation as that goes throughout. Again, you can follow up with those who have engaged with the email series, whether that's to offer them personalized recommendations or exclusive offers. Next up, we have promotion, your product list emails. So it's, again, what's the objective of this? What are you intending to do? select the products that match up to that objective. Make sure that your call to actions, so in this case, it might be shop now, view details, add to cart. If you're going to have more than one category, potentially separate those out to make sure that people know this is this category, this is the next category. Again, we do suggest that we keep the number of products to around 12 per email, rather than having a lengthy email that just
That's actually, this is a good point as well there. So a few merchants we've had contact as well about load times on emails, and a few comparisons with other IRP merchants, and just getting to the bottom of it, the search results and returning all products page. So that would be a no in terms of directing. So if you're doing, say, a 10% site-wide promotion, don't be directing your end user to the search results all page, because if you've got a couple of thousand products on there, we're seeing load times of maybe 7 or 8 seconds, versus if you were to send them to the home page, that would only, typically your 3 to 4 seconds there, or whatever that is. But that would be something would be recommended against. Yeah, another thing would be to point them towards the likes of a custom product list, rather than, as Richard alluded to, that all products. It's good to kind of funnel them in a certain way rather than just to generic overall. So the final template that we're working on is your product highlight. So again, you're defining your objectives. Is it a new product? Is it promoting a bestseller? Is it highlighting a seasonal collection? So then you want to look at choosing a focal point. What product or collection are you highlighting in the email? What consider its uniqueness, popularity, or relevance to your subscribers' interests. Then within your product detail, description and features, so you can really elaborate on it more than you would in that product list. So it's not going to be using the product list template. This is going to be something that you're going to curate, but with the templates that we'll be providing, it'll be easy to chop and change what you want to do and promote. Again, social proof and reviews. So letting your customers tell other customers how good your products are is better than you telling them that we're great. So it's always good to include that. And again, if you've got special offers and incentives, that even if it's especially like sort of a limited time promotion, free shipping or a bundled deal, to entice the users to click through and open the email. We'll just cover off a couple of slides here, just in terms of measuring email campaign success. So first one here, we'll see a mission control, and this is probably the most generic view. Looking at monthly performance there. So first of all, whenever you're in Trader and mission control there, you'll see channel summary highlighted in the top. So this gives a breakdown of monthly performance there. So you'll see April 23 is included in the screenshot there. You can click back there and see, how performances went over the course of the year. And you also get a very good overview of CPA, cost, and revenue there in the email marketing channel. Below that, then you've got positions within Trader. So this really helps with trend identification, I think. And this is something we've been speaking about internally as well. So if you have a marketing calendar there, I know most businesses probably have a marketing calendar for the forward 1 month or 2 months, but don't really go much further than that. It's worthwhile having a look at the peaks and troughs throughout the year and making sure that you're geared up, obviously, for seasonality. So everybody, well, the majority of our merchants in the run up to Christmas, obviously conversion rates will be higher there with people purchasing, presents and what have you. If you have the troughs in the year, the lower selling period, see what you can do to gear yourself up to really try and counteract that. And by looking at this screen within the positions tab in Trader, it helps to highlight if you're doing a good job of that or not. It gives a good overview of sales, costs, and CPA there, in the 12-month period. So definitely worthwhile having a look at. One that I don't typically tend to look at, but it is interesting as well, is a sales analysis. So go into sales analysis and set your time frame there, your custom date range. So if you're sending mail shots weekly, have a look at the previous, 7 days after those mail shots have went out. Select your traffic source there as email marketing, and see the variation of products that are included. You would expect that whenever you send an email and you've got certain products included within a product list, those would be the only products that actually sell. But it's interesting to see the variation of products that are selling alongside that. And if you do see that, other products are popping up over and over again, it might be worth, adding a promotion in the bag or in the basket, just to add additional products or add additional brands that are relevant to that product that you're really trying to push within the email. And probably the lowest level or the most detailed in terms of email performance is within Marketing Cloud. So you can go in there to each email campaign. You can view your open rates, your click-through rates, conversion rates, revenue per email, and unsubscribe rates. I have included the calculations there for just working that out, but it's important to try and improve in each of those. Try and test different methods there in terms of like looking at open rates there. What can you do in that subject line? Can you include a placeholder there to actually include the person's name? Calls to action there, Adam's talked about as well. Like what different calls to action can you actually add in there and to try and entice customers or potential customers to click through as much as possible. I think in finishing up, and what I did say midway through the slides there was about being subscribed to other IRPs and mailing lists there, and just understanding what's going on, what's working well, what's not working well. What we've included here is 6 images for those merchants who do have sizable, I think, success in terms of the email marketing list there and how their emails perform. And these merchants here across the board, I think everybody is, in terms of contribution to sales, is about 20% plus at least. Overall IRP is about 8.4%. We did show that, I think, on one of the first slides there. So in April, 8.4% of sales was contributed by email marketing. I think it's within everybody's best interest probably to try and hit at least 10%. So these guys are doing it well currently versus their other channels there. But then that serves up the question, well, the other channels, how can we build on them? And hopefully we can cover those off, in future webinars. But definitely have a look at these merchants, get signed up there, see what's coming through weekly or monthly there, and use that. I think in your own campaigns probably would be the best advice. And that's us. Open to questions there from anyone.